Hey YouTube, Mickey. Alrighty, I'll do a VR to NoBsSurvival in regards to, I forgot the title, sorry, what is a Bushcrafter, or, this and that, and, an explanation of it, and, I agree with the video, matey. It's a good topic, good question, and, it is a hard, I mean, it sounds simple, but it is actually hard to explain. So, I've looked at your video and I've kind of been writing some notes, and I just want to kind of give you my thoughts on, and I guess not what a bushcrafter is, because to be honest, it's hard to answer. But as you said, I don't want to offend anyone, and I don't want to offend you. I mean, what you said is correct, and you're very smart about it. So, how do I start this? I guess this VR is going to be. Hold on, I need to think. Hold on. Oh, okay. I need to think better. This is going to be, I guess, my understanding of different categories of people going bush and enjoying the outback and the bush and the jungle or the forest, whatever it may be. So look, I've written a few things down. I need to put my glasses on, sorry. 40 years old, I freaking can't read no more. Alright, so I've kind of separated into 7 categories. Now, a couple of these could be combined together, I guess. But again, this is my thoughts, this is just me. So please don't hate me. Don't comment bad, because it's just my thoughts and I could be wrong, alright? I probably am wrong, but this is just what I think. So just make that straight. So yeah, okay, there's different categories. So yeah, the first category is bushcraft or bushcrafters, and from my understanding, watching, and especially in the UK, bushcrafters, they go out to the bush, not really with minimal gear. They pretty much take a lot of gear, I think. Well, some take minimal gear, but they're out there and making wooden spoons, making Swedish candles, making a tripod to hang the billy on, bringing a tarp out, making a shelter, and using their knife and feather sticking, making whittling sticks, maybe making a whistle. They're using the resources they have to make some sort of implement or some sort of device or something. So that's my definition of a bushcrafter. And just enjoying the bush. Next category is survivalist. So a survivalist is, in my eyes, and with what I do, going out bush with maybe a pack like this and surviving on just this pack, or going out bush and surviving on that pack. I guess the survivalist is going out the bush with I guess a decent amount of gear, but minimal gear, and you just got your core 5 C's that Dave Canterbury talks about. You got your fire, you got your shelter, you got your water, being a container of some sort, you got your knife, and you got some cordage. Okay, so I guess just in summary and very quickly, that's my definition of a survivalist. Someone that goes out in the bush and if they had to, they could make a bow and arrow, they could make a spear, they can secure food, they can build traps and catch game. They can basically survive off the land with minimal gear. So that's just my 2 bob on that. So I might be wrong, but that's just what I think. Third one is a camper. So you've got your campers. Now campers, in my eyes, is someone that goes out with a big trailer, those big camp trailers. They go out with a big tent, they go out with the little table and the gas stove and the pots and pans and their axe or their chainsaw, and they just camp out, but with some luxuries. And there's nothing wrong with that. I do it once a year with my kids, and my wife. My wife would never come bush with me just with one backpack. I need to bring everything but the kitchen sink, you know what I mean? Well, no, I do bring the kitchen sink when I go camping with my kids and my wife. So a camper is that. You're camping out, you've built a nice base camp, you've got your sink, you've got your cooking, apparatus, you've got your pots and pans, you've got your knives, you've got your table, you've got your chairs. You're camping, and you might be in a campground where there might be toilets and showers. You might be camping in an area where no one else is camping, but you've got everything you need. 9 kilo gas bottles, blah blah blah. So that's a camper to me. Fourth one is a backpacker. So a backpacker, I can't bother grabbing a bag now, but a backpacker, you're bringing a bag, yay big, like that. You got your clothes, you got your tent, you got your blankets, you got your food, you got your your little gas, your gas things to stop on the trail. You've basically got everything in your bag to walk from point A to point B. In between point A and point B, you're camping out for a day. You've got your food, you're eating. You've got all the fancy little utensils, all the gadgets you can buy from the internet. You're basically travelling a little bit high tech, I guess. And that's what I class as a backpacker. And again, all these categories, there's nothing wrong with it. It's beautiful. I love people getting out in the bush, or being adventurous. You know what I mean? Climbing Mount Everest and stuff like that. Mate, go for it. I wish I could do it more, but I can't. So again, backpacker. Yeah, that's kind of what I class it as, and that's great. Fifth one is a day hiker. Okay, so a day hiker, day walk, whatever is, as it says, you just wake up in the morning, go to the bush, walk around, play around the bush, and come back in the evening or late afternoon. And generally, people will, I've taken this on a day hike, just in case I get stuck out there. And I guess that, also comes into survival, Well, all these categories come into survival, because all the gear you carry, no matter what category you're in, you need to prepare for staying an overnighter or a 2 or 3 dayer. But a day hike, again, that's my day hike bag, and I did a video yesterday on my contents, and there's everything in there for me to survive a night if I had to. It'd be uncomfortable because all I've got is a tarp, but I'd live, you know what I mean? So you've got your day hikers, you know what I mean? 6, you've got your hunters, okay? So hunters, myself being a hunter, which I don't get out as much as I want, but at least do one trip a year. I think last year I did maybe 2, 3. And I've got to start filming my hunting trips a little bit more. I just hate hunting with a gun. You got your bag, and you got to carry a camera around. It's just a bit annoying, but I'm gonna have to try and film the stuff. But yeah, hunter. So a hunter is obviously going out bush. You got your 4-wheel drive. You drove to the property in your 4-wheel drive. And most bush hunting areas are pretty rough terrain, so you need a 4-wheel drive, or where I go anyway. And you're out there, and you're carrying a backpack, with some food while you're walking around. And when I go hunting for 3-4 days, maybe a week. So you're building some sort of base camp, and you leave your big backpack there, and your sleeping bag, and your tent, and blah blah blah. And then you walk out with a haversack, as I showed you before. You've got a little box of ammo, 20 rounds, and then you've got some ammo stored in your stock and ammo in your gun, and you go for a walk and hunt game. And you shoot whatever you want, and whatever tickles your fancy. If you want to shoot deer and bring it back and eat the meat, beautiful. If you want to shoot pig and bring it back and eat the meat, beautiful. Whatever. And I did a video yesterday that when I do go hunting, I don't really eat the meat. I'm not a fan of game meat, to be honest. I'll only eat it if I have to. But in saying that, if I see a kid, like a goat, a kid goat, yeah, I'll shoot it, skin it, and put on a spit and cook it, you know what I mean? So that's the 6th category, being a hunter. And a hunter again is, I guess, slash a camper, slash a survivalist, slash bushcraft, because you're not hunting 24 hours a day. You're going back to camp, and you might be whittling a stick, you might be making a spoon, you might be mucking around doing something, you know what I mean? So and I'm not going to go too much into hunting, but yeah. And then the 7th category, and there's probably more, but 7th is a prepper. And a prepper, well, we all know what a prepper is. A prepper is someone that buys a shitload of food, buys a shitload of water, buys a shitload of ammo, has his guns, a shitload of firewood. They're stocking up on every single material you need to survive an apocalypse or an economic collapse or a flood or a tsunami or an earthquake, whatever it may be, a solar flare. They're stocking up on goods they need to keep their family and themselves alive. That's what a prepper is, in my eyes. And it's great, you know, and I'm hoping to get that property I spoke about a few videos ago, so I can start prepping and storing stuff there. So that's my 7 categories. I guess I'll go on to what I know, you know, what I know to survive. And actually, before I do that, I guess what categories do I fall into? So I fall into these categories, I believe anyway. I fall into the category of a survivalist. I fit in the category of a camper, purely when I'm with my kids and my wife. I fit in the category of a day hiker, because like most times when I go out bush, it's just a day hike, because that's all I can do. I definitely fall in the category of a hunter, and I fall in the category of a prepper. So I'm in all those categories, except a backpacker. No, I'm not a backpacker. And bushcraft, well, I possibly could fall into that category of bushcraft, because when I am out there surviving, or a day hike, or a hunter, I like to just sit down by the fire, grab a stick and make a spoon, or make something, you know what I mean? Make a tripod and hang the billy there, and you know, all that kind of stuff. So they're the categories I fall into. What do I know, or what am I good at when I'm out bush, and what keeps me, I guess, confident that I can probably spend a few days in the bush, or you know, a few weeks, whatever, if I've got the right tools, is, you know, I'm good at fire, I'm good at finding tinder. Admittedly, I haven't done a bow drill at all. I just rely on my fire still, and to me, that's all I need. If I have a fire still, I'll make a fire. Pretty much, you know what I mean? As long as I've got my Vaso cotton wool balls, or I can find paper bark, and underneath that paper bark it's dry, I'll make a fire with a fire still. No doubt about it. You know, cutting tools, yep, axe, saw, knives, whatever. I know how to use those things. Water, well, I know how to find water, I know how to purify water, so, you know, there you go. Shelter, yes, I know how to make a shelter, either being out of raw materials or with a tarp. Medical, you know, okay, getting bitten by a snake, I know how to treat that. I know basic first aid. I'm not, you know, haven't got a certificate, but I just know basic first aid. And building, you know, I know how to build. You know, I'm pretty handy around my house, and you know, if I had to, I could probably build a log cabin. You know what I mean? If I had the right tools, if I had a nice axe, you know, nice saw, whatever, I could pretty much build a nice wood log cabin. You know what I mean? Obviously, it would take ages, but I could do it. What I don't know is wild edibles. I don't know wild edibles at all. I don't know if I see this berry, is it edible? Is it going to help me, or is it going to kill me? I don't know if I look at this plant and go down to the root, if that's good for you. I don't know edibles at all, and I need to learn it. I really, really need to learn it, and I need to start buying books on it, and I need to start studying it, because that's one thing I lack. And medicinal plants, I would not have a clue what plant is medicinal. I mean, I know pine trees, with the pine needles, you can make pine needles tea. I know that, yeah, okay, fair enough. That's one thing I know. Everything else I'm pretty shit at, you know what I mean? So that's one skill I need to learn. So anyway, that's me. That's my scoop on the VR to NoBsSurvival. I hope you like it. I hope you agree with it. If you don't, that's fine. I mean, you know, I might not be right, but that's just my thoughts, okay? So that's just my scoop on it, and yeah, so anyway, no BS, good video, mate, good topic, and a very interesting one. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to VR to your video and give their feedback. So thanks.